Okay, so it's welcome. Today, we're doing a video that I haven't done any tier list or anything in a long while. The only other time is on my other channel, my collective channel with all the other guys, Iron Pickles. Check that out. We do a bunch of other stuff on there, but that is not the purpose of today's video. Today's video is about ranking all the characters, and this is not just your standard tier list. I'm not just gonna upload the raw footage. I'll edit it. You know, I'll put some gameplay in the background when I'm talking. Let's just get into it. First up, we have Billy Hansen. Damn, let me think, actually. I would put Billy in A. I think Billy is an interesting character. I think he's the best out of the Mob of the Dead crew. He's definitely not the most important, but I don't think being the most important means that you are the best. I think that can be a bad thing. I can't think of any examples in any of the CoD Zombies crews, but I think that can be a bad thing. He's definitely the most badass out of all the Mob of the Dead crew, which just makes him cool in general. Up next, we have the fucking Dead of the Night Redcoat. I'm putting in D. And actually, I'm gonna add another tier, because I don't know why there isn't another one. And we will call this F, and we're putting him in there. Actually, we'll just call this BO4. You're gonna come to realize that I do not like BO4 at all. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know anything about him. I just know that I do not like the map. I do not like the characters. Except for one of them. Bruno, I'll put in D. I think Bruno's like an interesting enough character to like you can kind of care about him, especially with like the cliffhanger and him killing what's the guy's fucking name, Shaw. But other than that, I really don't like any of the BO4 characters, so they're all going to be ranked pretty lowly, and I think that's good enough excuse. Fidel Castro, I think he's over the top. Not always, but I think a lot of the time he is kind of just over the top screaming or kind of, not really screaming, but like just loud. So I think some of his lines are good, but like it's kind of ruined when he says it over and over again and it's just loud. To the point where like just turn down the damn character dialogue. Sal from Mob of the Dead, another C tier character. I don't like him. I think he's decent. He's just the leader, the one that plans everything for the mobsters. Other than that, I don't really watch the actor. That's another thing with like a lot of these characters. Like if I don't really watch the actor, I'm not really gonna like the character that much. Primus Dempsey, I'll put in B. Most of the Primus is probably gonna go in B. I think Primus Dempsey is a step down from Ultimus Dempsey, which I will put in A. Ultimus definitely had the better lines. Primus is just he's too tame. He's no longer the same badass. He's still a badass, you know. Like that Origins intro shows that like yeah, he's still got it in him, but he's not like crazy badass with Ultimus. Diego. I'll put in C. He is the best out of the Chaos crew. Yep. Robert Englund, I will also put in C, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this now. Actually, Michael Rooker I'll put in B, but everybody else, they're all gonna go in C. I think these three are mid. I think Michael Rooker is a good character. I think he's got pretty good lines. Robert Englund's got a good line, maybe two. Everybody else, just they're mid. I don't really see why people like Call of the Dead so much. I'm not a fan of Call of the Dead, as you can probably tell. I think it's an alright map. It's just like the fog and George Romero. I don't see why people like it so much. Finn O'Leary, we're having a lot of C's today. He's also kind of a mid character. I don't really like him either. He's kind of boring. His voice is annoying. I'm complaining about stuff like I shouldn't be complaining. It's gonna be very hypocritical when you see my S tiers. Y'all are not gonna be happy with that one, but at least I don't have the same generic opinion as everybody else in the community. At least there's that. I'm not afraid to change it up a little, even if, you know, if I lose everybody. Here's another C. He just killed a man in a boxing ring. Everybody else did it on purpose. This guy was on accident. Everybody else had a... Pretty much, besides Jessica, everybody had like a genuine reason to save their careers. They were all trying to save their careers, and Floyd just, I don't know, he's kind of still. His lines are also a bit monotone, which I don't really like. The cowboy, yeah, he's going in D. I think he's a decent character. D for decent. He's the best out of that crew. There's not much to say. In fact, I'm just gonna put the rest of the BO4 characters where I think they belong. Is that everybody? That is everybody. Alright, BO4 is done. No need to even say anything about it. It's the one thing I think we all can agree on, is my BO4 placements. Jackie Vincent, I'm putting an A. I'll put in B. I don't think he's quite A. He's the best out of the Shadows of Evil crew. No, I gotta put him in A, because then everybody else is below him. Everybody else, the rest of the Shadows of Evil crew, actually, just Jessica. I'll move him down here. I'll move him down here, because these two, I like these two. I don't really like Jessica or Floyd. I love the Shadows of Evil crew. I think they're all amazing. But I have a 2 favorites and a 2 least favorites. Nero's an interesting character. You know, there's ties to the devil and all of that. I think Jessica didn't really need to kill the fucking film producer. She could have solved that many different ways, but it doesn't matter. Makes it more interesting. JFK. It's JFK. I mean, you can't go wrong with JFK. I'm putting him in. I'm putting him in A. Okay. Here is my stance. This is not me trying to be different. This is not me trying to start up anything. I love the Victus crew. They are my favorite crew. For that reason, I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the Victus crew where I think they belong. Kind of just scales down there, but I think Marlton and Misty are very good characters. I think they have very good stories, interesting stories. Misty does like some fourth wall breaks. I think Marlton is really easy to make fun of, and he has some pretty good lines. Stuhlinger is a little too sus. He's a little too weird. He screams a lot, but I don't think he's that bad of a character. And Russman, he's sort of mid. He's an alright character. In fact, I'm actually going to bump him down one. I don't think he's the greatest. He's just an old guy with dementia. He's kind of just forgetting everything half the time. And I don't really think he has any good lines. It's just him, like, being an old, cranky man. Robert McNamara, I'm also going to put in C. He's a mid character. He doesn't really have any story. He's just kind of there just because JFK is there, in my opinion. Primus Nikolai, I'll put in B. I think he is I like him more than this Nikolai, who I'm going to also put in B, but he is... I like Primus more, but I like them both. I think Ultimus complains about his fake wives too much and like killing them all the time. It's like I hear those lines too many times when I'm playing a game, or just I'm like constantly talking about vodka. It's like the same thing with like Ultimus Takio. I don't really like him. He's constantly just worshipping the Emperor, and it's just like no funny lines. He has no character. That's just all it is, and I am glad they did what they did with him. That's why I'm going to put him in S here. He had the best character development out of all of these characters. He went from a absolute boring ass character, just mid as hell, to one of the best. One of the most badass. Richard Nixon, I'm going to put in A. I think he's the best out of the 5 crew. But I think him and JFK, you could interchange him. Depending on the day, I can interchange them. And that's why I put them both in the same tier. I think Richard Nixon, Jesus, I'm losing it. He has some strange lines. I think it's kind of funny how he's complaining about the opposite party, like the Democrats. The entire, like a lot of those lines. I'm not taking any sides. I just think it's funny that he's just constantly complaining about the opposite party. Saying, you know, all kinds of stuff that, like, well, it's kind of true today. In terms of like prices going up and all that. Not blaming it on anyone. Just saying a lot of the stuff he says is stuff that's happening now. It's kind of funny. Primus Richthofen. I'll put him in A, and I'm going to put the other one in B. Ultimus. Ultimus is also really sus. He's also really kind of weird. He's a little too much over the top sometimes, but I like him. I love him. He's a classic. Primus is just better in general. I think he's a little bit more well-rounded, a little bit more sane. He has good lines. He's still funny. He's just not screaming and talking about murdering everybody and saying weird shit all the time. And then Arlington, I'll put an A as well. A for Arlington. I think he's the most important on Mob of the Dead. He comes back in BO4 on Blood of the Dead as the Bird. He gets you out of prison, out of the jail cells. But he's also just a good character. I like his lines. I think he's the only one out of the mobsters that generally wasn't bad. He just seemed like he was kind of forced to do it all, and they would just kill him if he got the plan wrong. Wrong. Like, it was just a sad story in general. Now, the reason I put Victus on, the reason I like Victus, and I should want to come back to this, is I think people complain about Victus just because they're not Ultimus or Primus. I think people complain about Victus just because they're on bad maps. I think people complain about stuff that they shouldn't be complaining about. Marlington is, like, memeable. He's such a good character. I think Misty's also a really good character. Stuhlinger's pretty good. You know, nobody really likes Russman, not gonna lie. I just think people complain when they shouldn't be. And that's why I was, like, saying, like, it's kind of stereotypical, because, like, I just complain about all the BO4 characters without giving them a chance. I did give them a chance. I played as all of them, and they're just no sustenance, just nothing. Well, hopefully you enjoyed, and I challenge you. Make your own fucking tier list. Like, tweet me at Twitter or some shit. Show me. And, you know, if it doesn't look exactly the same. And, yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.